is enough.
I want the world to be the best place for my children.
You are not alone.
We need renegades to be part of this movement, and they're the ones that are going to change the world.
Welcome back to Renegade Radio, the podcast dedicated to the dissenters of the status quo, bringing you the mindset and strategies to build a healthier, happier, and stronger family, the Renegade way.
It's so important to be a renegade.
Welcome back to this week's episode of Mindset Monday. This is Dr. Todd, your host. Today's topic is loving what ain't. Buckle up. It's going to be short, sharp, and snickety-snackety. Okay, loving what ain't. If you've read the book Loving What Is by Byron Katie, you'll kind of get an idea of where I'm going with this. However, if you haven't read her book, Loving What Is by Byron Katie, highly recommended. You know, look, we all have our stuff, right? We've all got some baggage, some old hurts, some injuries, some things we're hanging on to, and it's often those very things that hold us back from achieving the life that we want and the happiness that we so desire and so deserve. So check out that book, Loving What Is. Anger, hurt, resentment, fear, guilt, carrying all that stuff around from our past can hold us back from just an amazing future. So check that out. Now, flip-flopping that. Loving what ain't. This also could be holding you back. In other words, are you holding on to things that aren't real? It's not really the reality that you're living in. It's the reality that you wish you were living in, and that you're holding on to it. I'll give you an example. Early in my career, public confession here, coming clean. But I only realized this just in recent years. I've been in practice, private practice for 14 years. I came out of school, fire and brimstone, hopes and dreams. I was going to build big practice and help lots of people, and life was just going to be great, right? And so, basically I got my ass handed to me after year one. I was broke. I had no practice to show after a year of doing my best. I thought I had all the tools and skills and resources to do what I needed to do. So then through some help with some friends and some mentors, I made some changes and saw some success, but really not anywhere near what I thought I would produce or what I was capable of. And more importantly, I thought, man, I'm letting my community down because I'm just not able to reach them. I'm just not having success here. But what happened was, a combination of naivete, being young and, on fire. I thought, I got this, I got this. I wasn't living in reality. I was loving the idea of a reality. I was loving what ain't. And I was just lying to myself. Yep, things are good. Things are going real good. We just had a really good week, saw a lot of people, helped a lot of folks. And you know what? Next week's going to be better, and the week after is better, and it's just going to get better and better. And what it was this roller coaster. And every time we'd have a good week or a good month and saw a lot of people and the business and the financial side of things were taking care of themselves, then I'd be like, sweet. Things are going good. I don't need to make any changes. And then the next month, bam, hit the bottom again. And rather than, I don't know if it was pride or what, but just not admitting to myself, Todd, things aren't really going so well. And maybe you ought to pull off this facade of things are and this kind of fake, veneer of success you got going to the outside world, and be honest with yourself first, and then be honest with those around you and ask for help. And that's, in hindsight, that's what I should have done. But, again, it was all part of a journey. So I guess, I wouldn't say that I regret anything, but I could say, boy, I wouldn't want to go through that again. I had many sleepless nights, cried myself to sleep more than once after investing 6 figures to get a student, to get an education, investing another tens of thousands of dollars in borrowing money to start a practice, and just all these hopes and dreams and aspirations. At the same time, I'm newly married, recently had a baby, and, that ups the stakes. For those of you who are parents, you know what I'm talking about. And it's just, you're thinking, you would just say, I'm a failure. But rather than asking for help, I would just put on this veneer. Nope, things are going to be good. This week's going to be different. I would hit the pavement and then, get punched in the face a few times and so on. And here we are 14 years later, and through a lot of struggle and trials, and that's all a part of it, right? We wouldn't be where we are today without that. But in hindsight, we probably could have shortened those years of stress and struggle. We could have really accelerated our experience by just being honest and being true to ourselves, let go of what ain't, and start looking at what is, and stop arguing with reality, and start looking at the reality of actually what is happening. Where am I at? And I'm just giving you my example with my career and business and so on. But that could hold true for your marriage, a relationship with a child, your health. You could be in denial about where your health's at and the changes that you need to make. Okay? So the reality is, let's let go of the past. I could beat myself up about my past and, oh, you idiot. Why were you so prideful? Why were you so naive? Why didn't you ask, some coaches or mentors or friends and colleagues for help? Why did you, beat your head against the wall for so long? And, I don't know. Maybe that was God's plan for us. And as a result, here we are with much thicker skin, a la Rhino. And here we are on a podcast. And now we have something to offer. Maybe if we didn't go through all that, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing now. We wouldn't be serving and helping as many people as we are. Maybe we wouldn't have the gonads to step out and to do things that we would have thought were beyond us in the past. And the message here is, it's not beyond you either, right? So let's let go of what ain't. Let's look at the reality of what is, and how do we move forward. If you need help, ask for help. If you need to be honest, be honest. If it's in your marriage, if it's in your health, talk to your loved ones, your family, your friends, your spouse, and just come clean and come raw. Wipe the slate clean, map out your vision of where you want to be in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 3 years, 5 years. Work your plan backwards and start going after it. Okay, the resources are out there. We've got resources on our website. We're going to have resources in our free ebook coming out, therenegadefamily.com. Check it out. Check out Byron Katie's book, Loving What Is. And how beautiful of a name is that, man? Love what is. I tell you, if you're stressed right now, and you've got worries and fears and anxieties and stuff you're just crap you're hanging on to, that you're swimming in every day, get that book. It changed my life. I'll share with you one pearl from it, just as long as we're on the topic. And it's simply this. There are 3 kinds of business: my business, your business, and God's business. Right? What's God's business? Well, there's a lot of things going on in the world that I don't agree with and that seem terrible. There's, starving children in Africa. There's crime. There's poverty. There's wars. There's hurricanes. There's floods. There's tsunamis. There's lots of yucky things going on, if you will, in the world. And we can turn on the news and hear about all of it. So I suggest don't watch the news, but you can hear about all of it. But what can you do about it? How is that going to help you wake up healthier and happier and ready to serve tomorrow if you're focused on all these tragedies and horrible things going on around the globe that you can't do anything about? Maybe there's some things you could do. You could support the Red Cross or make donations. But beyond that, what are you going to do? That's God's business. That's how I look at that. And that's how Byron Katie teaches it. There's God's business. You pray about it and let it go. And then there's your business. So let's use an example. My husband, he drinks too much, right? So, if you're sitting there worrying about and thinking about and scolding your husband because he drinks too much, well, whose business is it how much he drinks? Is that his business or your business? Right? It's his business. I'm just using a simple example here, gang. So if you're in God's business, worrying about all the things that are going on around the world, and you're in other people's businesses, worrying about what they're doing and what they're thinking or what they're not doing, and they should, they could, they can't, they will, right? So you're in God's business and you're in everybody else's business. If that's where your head and your heart is, then who's in your business? Uh-oh. Right? You're somewhere else and you're worrying about everything else. We need to focus on, I'll include myself in that, in our business. It's real easy to get stuck on what others did to me or my past and so forth. So I'm ranting a little bit here. God's business, that alone just freed me up because there's a lot of things going on around the planet that can really bring me down if I start thinking about it and the direction that the planet's going in. But when I go, that's God's business, and He's in control, and I focus on all the beauty that is around me and all the good that is around me, right away, sense of peace. And when I just keep my mind on my business and not the business of others, again, it just frees you up. All right? So this is Dr. Todd, love and light. We'll catch you next time.
I love you, Daddy.
We're counting on you.
My mom is a renegade.
Thanks for tuning in to Renegade Radio. If you haven't yet done so, please subscribe to us on iTunes and leave us a rating and review. Also, like us on Facebook at facebook.com/TRFTribe. Please email us your questions for FAQ Friday, and we'll do our best to answer them in a future show. Simply email us at faq@therenegadefamily.com. If you got value from this episode and know someone else that would benefit from it as well, please share it with them.
Changing the world is going to start in your house. This is Dr. Todd, and from my family to yours, we wish you all the best. God bless, and we'll catch you soon.
Renegades, man up!